This is Diana Block with Organizational Behavior. I'm sorry, this is week 10 of Organizational Behavior. And this is the spring 2014 quarter. And we're almost done. This is week 10, and so week 11 starts next week and it ends on Thursday of next week. So remember that all of your week 11 assignments, discussion, etc., are the Thursday of next week. But as far as this week, this is week 10. In week 10, we have discussion. And in our discussion, you're going to talk a little bit about the organization that you are going to write your paper on. So just in the discussion area, tell us a paragraph about what kind of company it is, or what kind of firm it is, what type of organization, what they do, what their purpose is, and some of the topics that you are going to be discussing about them in your paper. And make sure you give at least 2 responses to your classmates' posts as well. So this week we are going to turn in the organizational analysis paper. And you've got instructions for that have been out since week 1. The instructions for the organizational analysis paper are right here. So the part of this I want to point out is to use direct references to course concepts. Offer specific examples from the organization. Examples from the organization to illustrate the concepts at work. So the reason I'm highlighting this is because sometimes I get papers that are not specific. They're general. General statements like communication should always be good in a company. It's great to have good communication. That is good to have good communication, but that doesn't tell me any of the concepts you studied in this class about communication. Give me a specific concept, some specific terminology out of this book, out of this class, about that. Also, from the organization, I want examples that are taking place in that company, not just a general statement that selective attention means blah, 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 whatever it means. Okay, that's good information that you're given a definition, but show me an example of that, of selective attention, that is happening in this organization. So I want you to use the concepts from the book and provide examples of it from the actual organization you're talking about. Direct references to course concepts, specific examples from the organization is what I'm looking for. You are going to provide a brief introduction of your company, and that a brief introduction means it shouldn't be half of the paper. No more than a couple of paragraphs, maybe a half a page, to introduce who this firm is and what their purpose is, what they do. Then the rest of your paper, the rest of that 4 to 6 pages, needs to be about organizational behavior, with direct references to specific examples of course concepts in that firm. That should be the majority of your paper. Now, 4 to 6 pages means 4 to 6 complete pages. 3 pages plus a paragraph, or 3 pages plus a couple of lines, is going to be short, and you're going to see a deduction. There's a minimum on this paper is 4 full pages. And we've covered 18 chapters of this book, so there's plenty of information to easily fill 4 full pages. The cover page or reference page is not included as the 4 pages of content. We need 4 actual pages of content for the paper in order for your paper to be the appropriate length. So again, if you have references, you'll need to properly document those. And so you're going to provide information about the organizational behavior within that firm. And any of the topics that we've studied, that we've read about in this textbook, are open for selection, open for you to use. So whichever ones that you know about and that apply to that particular firm, those are the items you can use. I have some examples here where we talk about agendas, boundaries, the culture, politics, decision-making practices. You can provide specifics under any of those topics or any topics that aren't listed there, but they're in the textbook. So a lot of people talk about power tactics, power sources, intrinsic motivators, communication topics, anything that we've covered in this book, personality types, whatever you have information on. Whatever you have information on about that firm's organizational behavior, that's what you can write about, as long as you're providing direct references to course concepts using specific examples from this organization. This paper is formal paper using APA format, so you need to cite your sources in the body of the paper and provide a works cited page. You want to make sure you're using complete sentences with punctuation and proper grammar, just a formal paper that I'm sure you're all familiar with. If you have any questions about this, you can certainly email me and we can discuss any questions that you have. But make sure that you also, in the discussion area, don't write your whole paper in the discussion. In the discussion area, you're just going to give a paragraph and some general information about it. But in the paper, you're going to actually give all the specifics about the organization's behavior that you want to write about. And so again, I'll remind you that next week is the final week of the quarter. So if you finish this paper up, you may want to go ahead and get started on the activities for next week, because next week is a short week. And so I look forward to reading about your organizations in your paper and in the discussion this week. If you have any questions, you know how to reach me. Have a great week.